Helen Yee here with Eyes on the Game here in Fight Island, being joined by the one and only Alexander the Great Hernandez. How are you?
I'm doing pretty swell myself. Yeah, I've definitely adapted to the Dhabi times out here.
I know. I feel like we're doing this interview right now around midnight Abu Dhabi time, which is daytime U.S. So I'm glad that you're adjusted because you are cornering Brandon Royval, your teammate. How's he looking?
Man, that kid's sensational. You know, we had similar entrances into the organization, defeating a top 10, and the first day I got to that gym in Factory X, he had just fought. It was maybe the Monday. I arrived on a Monday. He had fought that Saturday, and the kid's in there running on the treadmill, hitting sprints and distance. And I thought, who the fuck is that guy? And they're like, oh, that's Brandon. He just won this last week. I'm like, on Saturday? Like, yeah, this is just the way he operates. He's something else. Yeah, he's special.
So he does have that big fight coming up against Kai France. So in your eyes, I mean, how do you see that fight playing out?
Brandon's so versatile, and he's one of the most balanced fighters I've ever trained with, personally, pound for pound, certainly. And I don't see a place that Kai could take it where we don't have an outstanding advantage. I think he's too unorthodox on the feet for Kai, and on the ground he's way too squirrely. That boy's a squirrel in the pasture. You can't keep up with him. So I don't see a point where we really give up any slack.
Well, yesterday in his media day, he spoke very highly of you and when you first stepped into Factory X with Coach Marc Montoya. So kind of talk about, what made you decide to make that change?
Sure, yeah. I felt like I'd taken maybe necessary, but seemingly unnecessary losses in my UFC career. I came in on a rocket ship on my debut, and ever since then they just been propelling me into top 15. I've never fought anything shy of a top 15 talent since I've been in the UFC, and that's just a kid coming out of San Antonio fighting outside of rodeos before that. So making my statement in there, I kind of started to hit a point after the Dober fight where I realized, and it's a terrible place to realize it when you're in the octagon, shit, maybe we didn't prepare for this. Maybe we don't have the expertise for this. And I've got brilliant coaches back home, but they're specialists. I don't have an MMA mastermind. And so I sought out to find just that, a wizard in the MMA game. And the journey led me to Marc Montoya. And so shortly after, I moved out to Denver. I've been there for over 2 months now. And I was fortunate enough to get the invite to come out here and be able to corner these guys and work with Marc. And it's been an awesome trip.
Well, when you say you realize that in the octagon, does that mean during that fight or right after that fight against Drew Dober?
Yeah, both. I mean, I remember being in that fight and looking this guy in the eyes and thinking, fuck, this guy's got purpose in his movement and what he's doing. And I felt like lost in there. I felt completely lost. And I'm doing this, I'm doing that, I'm boxing, I'm kickboxing, I'm wrestling. And I'm winning in these exchanges, but the entire time I'm fighting without direction. And I think it was not for lack of effort, but just lack of expertise in my camp, and kind of setting a narrative for the fight and preparing, the way we needed to. And so I never want to feel that way again. And my manager, Jason House with Iridium, helped introduce me to Marc. And Marc's been, come to find out, a long-time fan of my own. And so we hit it off immediately, started doing film breakdowns, and he started making adjustments to my game. And I've made leaps and bounds over the last couple of months, and it feels great. It feels great to be on the right track.
Yeah, well, that's great to hear. What do you think is the biggest thing that you can take away from Coach Marc Montoya so far?
Proper preparation for one, and a system. He's systematic in everything he does. I would go into sessions. I try to be the best boxer. I try to be the best kickboxer. I try to be the best grappler, and Marc's like, nah, bitch, we put it all together. And so, yeah. And so every day's MMA with a focus, and he's very systematic. He's very structured. And so putting together systems and chaining together sequences, that's one of the biggest things I've probably developed since I've been there.
Well, a lot of your fans are anticipating your return back to the octagon. When can we expect that to happen?
ASAP. I'm here as a cornerman. But really, I'm ready to catch smoke as soon as I can. Yeah. Really, I'm hoping should tragedy strike, you know, Mr. Prez will put me in. So I'm prepared. I'm prepared as soon as I need to be, or as soon as I need to get called up.
Well, is there someone that you would like to fight?
As usual, I don't give a damn. I realized on the track I was on before, extremely fast track, and this was, you know, just my first year in. I have less than 10 fights, and they're offering names like Pettis, Gaethje. Now that I've been here for a couple years, I realized, dude, I don't want to fight those guys for what my contract says. I want to develop my contract. I want to get money. I want to fight my worth, and I want to fight the value of the opponents I'm facing. So right now, I'm taking the back road is what I'm looking at now. Get more experience, get repetition in the cage, build my contract. And that's what all these young fighters need to know. You know, it's not about climbing to the top as quickly as you can. It's about developing your brand, getting your money's worth, and then climbing the ladder the right way at the right time. And so really now I'm kind of taking the long road, and I'm perfectly fine with that. I'm still mid-20s, and still have so much to develop, so much to learn. And so I'm open-minded. Before I was turning down fights that maybe weren't ranked opponents because I was so set in that mind. I just want to climb the ladder as quick as possible. Now I'm open to anybody. I don't need a number by their name. I just want to get reps. So I'm open to anybody as long as my coach, my manager signs off on it.
Well, like you mentioned, you are very young with a very bright future. You just mentioned Justin Gaethje. He is fighting here in Yas Island next month against Khabib. Huge fight coming up. How do you see that fight playing out?
If I personally were thinking about having to fight someone, Khabib seems, you know, as undefeated as he is, he still seems more beatable than Gaethje in my eyes. I don't see really anywhere where Gaethje could fall short in that fight. So I do give it to Gaethje in that matchup. Yeah.
And lastly, Michael Chandler, he is set to kind of be their alternate, right?
You couldn't stack this weight class any fucking more, right? Yeah.
Your weight class. So what do you make of his debut in the UFC hopefully soon?
Yeah, I think it'll be exciting. Nonetheless, though, you know, I have a lot of respect for Chandler. I watched him for a long time coming up, and I think he's kind of a freak of nature. But these guys are in different places of their career than I am. I'm still on the crescendo, and these guys are looking for a couple legacy fights on their way out. So I don't really even consider him as a threat, you know. But I think it'll be certainly an exciting, turbulent bump in the weight class just to see another big name come in and get some exciting fights for sure. Yeah.
And what would you like to tell all your fans who can't wait to watch you back in the octagon?
Stay patient and keep having faith in me. I'll be in there. I'll be back, and I'll prove us right.